Taehyung went online and shared part of his routine, and everything immediately felt calmer. Knowing he's okay, that he's taking care of himself, that he's calmly following his path always comforts us. Yesterday I read a tweet that perfectly fit the moment. It said, "Taehyung doesn't get upset, and that's what bothers his haters." And it's true, his way of not responding to the noise and staying true to himself is what most disconcerts those who try to tear him down. Thank you, Taehyung, for coming to us once again, for reminding us with something as simple as a story that you're there, that you listen to us, that you share your day to make us feel close. Not everyone shares their routine with such love and simplicity. 8 kilometers is no joke, in that effort that doesn't seek applause but balance. You're always doing great, always finding a way to inspire without saying a word. Meanwhile, Minyu, head of VIP for Korea and Southeast Asia at Celine, also shared something on his social media. His Instagram story showed an elegant and delicate scene, a table with 3 pastries on white plates. 2 croissants covered in a soft green pistachio cream and a rounder one, slightly browned from the oven. Alongside the image, he wrote, "Ever since my son, Taehyung." And let the image do the rest. The location showed the Café La Pistachierie, on Place de l'Alma, Paris. That post didn't appear by chance, everything had a context. Taehyung had visited La Pistachierie right after the Celine Été 2026 show in Paris, where he was one of the most anticipated guests. He was seen enjoying a pistachio croissant. What followed was what fans began to call the Taehyung effect. The cafe was filled with tourists and locals alike, all wanting to try the same croissant he had. The line stretched out onto the street, and the media began reporting on how La Pistachierie had to extend its hours to accommodate all the visitors. Such a small gesture became a cultural trend, a shared experience. It's not just about fashion or fame, but the real impact it has on people. Minyu, with her role in Celine, knows that power well. She has worked with high-profile celebrities, but her connection with Taehyung seems different. At various events, they have been seen interacting naturally and affectionately. There are viral videos where she praises him without reservation, calling him the best, or with that affectionate tone in which she calls him baby. It's a bond that shows respect, tenderness, and genuine admiration. Taehyung inspires not only with his music, but with the way he lives. And every small gesture of his, an 8-kilometer walk, an online story, a pistachio croissant, turns into something much bigger. Because in a world filled with noise, he chooses stillness. And in that stillness, we all find something that reminds us that we, too, can be well. 13 million followers on Jungkook's Instagram. 13 million people who, in a matter of months, decided to join in to follow every step of the way, the man who manages to captivate without the need for active posts. Just one notable post was enough to get everyone talking. And that was already a reason to celebrate, to look back and remember every moment that led us here, every little detail that turned his Instagram account into something more than a social network, into a shared experience. But the most beautiful thing of all was how this story began, because none of it would have been possible without Taehyung. It was thanks to Taehyung that we discovered Jungkook's account. It all happened during that unforgettable Taekook live, the one that was etched in the collective memory of the fandom, the one that made millions of hearts beat in unison. Taehyung, with his typical spontaneity, asked Jungkook to reveal his Instagram. And as always, Jungkook couldn't refuse. He can never deny anything to his Taehyung. That was the moment everything changed. Not only because our babies were doing a live together, but Jungkook was revealing an intimate part of himself, something that until then only Taehyung knew. What no one expected was that this small gesture would become one of the most meaningful memories for Taekook's fans. That live wasn't just another broadcast. It was one of the purest and most loving moments we've ever witnessed between them. There was something domestic, almost familiar about the atmosphere. Everything was charged with that silent energy that only they understand. The love wasn't just in their eyes, it was in the air, in every shared laugh. Seeing them like that made it impossible not to fall in love even more. Because the way they looked at each other that time, with eyes that spoke a language that needed no words, was enough to confirm what we all felt, that the affection between them is as real as it is eternal. When Jungkook finally made his first post, the entire internet stopped for a moment. That post wasn't just any old thing, it was a collaboration with Taehyung. And suddenly, what seemed like a simple photo transformed into a symbol of their bond, a visual declaration of their closeness. Even today, that post remains unforgettable. From the plane, with Taehyung sitting on Jungkook's lap, the laughter, the glances, and the comfort between them were so evident that even the neighbors must have felt the energy they gave off. That first post, that revelation, that live, each of those moments came together to build something bigger. Because it wasn't just about followers or numbers, it was about shared emotions, the magic of seeing two people be themselves in front of the world. And even as time passes and social media changes, the memory of that revelation, that laugh, that look that spoke volumes, will live on. Because Taekook moments are not forgotten, they are felt, relived, and kept in the hearts of those who have loved them from the beginning. Within Taehyung's world, there's one thing that always draws attention, the way Taehyung and Jungkook seem to understand each other without saying a single word. They don't need to talk much to know what they're thinking or feeling. Just look at the way they look at each other, the way they move, the way they react when the other is around. That silent connection is what gives their relationship a special strength, something that transcends cameras and appearances. Some people say theirs is just fan service, a way to entertain the public, but you only have to observe them closely to notice the difference between what's acted and what's real. There's something about them that can't be faked, their naturalness. They don't need to rehearse or plan how to behave, they just flow, as if their way of being together is part of who they are. Every gesture between them seems to have a hidden meaning, a story behind it, something only they understand. One of the most memorable moments between Taehyung and Jungkook was their live show. At first glance, it might have seemed like just another broadcast, but in reality, it was much more than that. There was a calm atmosphere, almost as if they were at home, away from everything. It wasn't a show or a presentation, it was an everyday, sincere scene, where you could feel the closeness between them. The laughter, the silences, the small glances they exchanged without saying anything, everything was filled with a warm, almost familial energy. It was as if, for a moment, the world stopped to let us see who they really were when no one else was around. That moment was etched in the memories of many because it showed a very human side of both of them. They weren't just two artists in front of a camera, but two people who understood and supported each other. Love, in its broadest sense, wasn't only in their eyes, it was in the way they shared the moment, in the comfort they conveyed when they were together, in the spontaneous laughter that emerged effortlessly. Seeing them like this made it impossible not to feel moved, because there was something pure and sincere in their way of being present for each other. In the many videos where they appear, there's one detail that repeats itself over and over, the way they move as if connected by an invisible thread. It doesn't matter if there are people around, if cameras surround them, or if they're standing in the middle of a stage. They always seem to act as if the world narrows down to just the two of them. When one moves forward, the other follows, when one stops, the other waits. It's a synchronicity so natural that it seems to require no words. This connection isn't born by chance. It's the result of years of sharing time, experiences, and silences. They've learned to read each other without needing explanations. When Taehyung reaches out a hand, Jungkook knows what to do. When Jungkook smiles for no reason, Taehyung understands why. It's a kind of invisible dance, a conversation made up of glances and gestures that only they can understand. Many call it Taekook because it's the simplest way to describe what you see between them, a strong, sincere, and respectful bond. Sometimes, in the midst of work or touring, that bond shows in small details, a shared glance, a private joke, an unexpected laugh. These are simple moments, yet so authentic that they end up saying more than any words. In the end, that's what makes watching them so special, the feeling that their relationship is real. There's no need for grand declarations or exaggerated displays. Their way of communicating is silent yet profound, like a melody only they can hear. In that shared silence lies the essence of Taekook, two people who understand each other just by looking at each other, who accompany each other without needing to speak, and who, without intending to, manage to convey something that we can all feel, even if we don't know how to explain it.